I am sure that Shakespeare wrote this play for his daughters. Must be. Because if, I think I said this before, if your father makes pots, then maybe when you're a child he will make you a pot. If your father makes things out of wood, maybe he will make something out of wood for you. If your father is your painter, he paints your picture. If your father is Shakespeare, he writes you a play. And he writes you a play so that you will enjoy liking the Putong cute boy instead of the city boy. Shakespeare did not care so much for the city because for him the city was, first of all, smells very bad because almost no shishaojin. You throw things just out in the street. And the streets are very, very narrow. You saw some pictures of that. But when Shakespeare goes home, his house, I haven't seen his house, but I've seen the house like his house, belonged to his daughter. It's big. And big yard, big garden, not just garden, but also apple trees, lots of trees like that. So there's lots of air, much more healthy. Okay, in this play, we're told by Rosalind that this is the Forest of Arden. But we're also told that the play takes place in France. That's a little bit strange. That's like saying I rode my bicycle from Tainan to Xi'an. That's difficult to do because you have to go over the ocean. For Shakespeare, it didn't matter. Many things were important to Shakespeare, but places were not so important. Unless his play was a history play, he kind of didn't care about places. But also, this is, as I told you, his mother's name is Arden. And so this play takes place in Mother's Forest. And in Mother's Forest, nobody dies except one deer. And the deer dies for food. And I think that's also kind of important for Shakespeare. When Shakespeare was alive, he was very popular, but also the actors in his company were very popular. You go to the theater because it's lots of famous people. And Shakespeare promises when you leave the theater, you will learn something. All the world is a stage. So then when you go home and you're cooking food, you sit down to the table and you say, you know, all the world is like a stage. And you're thinking, what's she talking about? And you explain. You say, well, yeah, you're young, then you get older, then you get older, then you get older, then you get older. And it's sort of like you're playing a role. So that's what Shakespeare promises you. In Shakespeare's time, what do you do if you're not working?
Go to the theater.
You can go to the theater, but not in Shakespeare's town, because Shakespeare's town is so small that it only gets theater maybe 2 or 3 times a year. You can sing, you go to church, you listen to her read. That's very popular. We sit around and we listen to people read. Shakespeare didn't write for that. Shakespeare wrote plays, but he also wrote poems. And so you would read the poems at night. And we think they're very nice. But also, Shakespeare knew all the stories in all the books. So when Shakespeare was a boy, somebody was reading to him. If you have children or if you're taking care of xiaopengyo, reading to them is kind of important because it is something that, at least in USA, we don't do so much anymore. So, in Shakespeare's time, when you were in the town, not the city, you would listen to a storyteller, or you would listen to somebody read something. Maybe not so many people can read, but somebody could read. Maybe one or two people in the village can read, so you go sit in a circle around them. That's actually probably how theater began. Theater began because we all finished our work, we sit in a circle, and we hear you tell a story. And you tell the story that your grandfather told you, which is a story that his grandmother told him. And so we learn about Matsu, not from reading about Matsu, but from listening to your story about Matsu. I think that's really interesting. Fifi.
I have a question. I wonder, during that period of time, can most people afford to buy the ticket to go to the theaters?
Excellent question. The most expensive ticket, if I think of it in modern times, would be like maybe 1,000 NT. If you pay 1,000 NT, you get a pillow to sit on. If you're really rich, then you pay 2,000 NT and you sit on the stage with the actors. But most people don't have that kind of money. So for 100 NT, you can stand. This is what it looked like for Shakespeare, because if you're an actor and I'm audience, the stage would come to about here. So you can, if you know somebody, you can go, hi, all that. And what's nice about that is if you pay 100 NT, you can touch the actor, because, this actor is very famous. So I can go, hi, actor. If you have no money, but you are a good audience, maybe they still will let you in, because the actor likes a good audience. So if I'm the actor and I go, so this is the Forest of Arden, and you go, yes, tell me more. You pay attention to me, don't you? And then somebody will say, but she doesn't pay any money. I will say, that doesn't matter. She's a good audience. So if you're a good audience, maybe it's free. And if an audience is sleepy, I get bored. So I don't say, to be or not to be, that is the question. I say, to be or not to be, that is the question. And that's so interesting. But if the audience is with you and encouraging you, you perform better. We often say that, okay, if you write a play, while you write the play belongs to you. But as soon as you give it to the actors, the play belongs to the actors. 坦是, if you're the actors, as soon as you act the play belongs to the audience. So Hamlet is my play because I went to the theater and I watched it. As You Like It is your play because you read the play or you watched the play. It belongs to you. So that's why drama is a little bit different from a book or a poem, because in the theater, one time. You only hear to be or not to be one time, unless you go back to the theater again. So we go to the theater for comfort. There's one other reason why we go to the theater. Life is exciting and difficult. So you go to the theater because the theater takes you to other places. But also, when you are watching a play, if it's a good play and you're a good audience, you're all looking in the same way. It's like we are a team. We all join together to watch the play. And when we're shocked, we all together, and when we cry, we cry at the same time. Oh, I wish you wouldn't cry, it's making me cry now. We laugh at the same time. I think it's interesting that very, very, very few cultures have ever said no theater. Shakespeare's London said no theater. That's why Shakespeare has to perform outside of London. So, if you love the theater, doesn't matter how much money. unless you really want a pillow. Or if you really want people to see your beautiful new clothes and you want to sit on the stage and wave at people, then you have to pay a lot of money. But if you want to go watch the play and you're a good audience, the actors will tell the manager, let that person come. They're not concerned about the money because you make my performance better. And if my performance is better, then more people come. So thank you, audience member. Does that help to answer? Okay.